Hey, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick channel. First, we're going to discuss a couple of things related to what's currently happening in the crypto space. Well, a few things. We cannot cover everything, but I think these are a couple of things that are quite significant. We're going to look at Fetch.ai and their recent extension with one of their partnerships. We're going to look at something with the Ripple case, something brief. We're going to look at some other platform which is dealing with the certification of smart contracts. I think it's one of those things that's going to be big in the future, but who knows? Doesn't mean the tokens are going to be valuable, but hey, we'll get into it. The other thing we want to talk about, a reminder of the Poly network. Remember the network that was hacked for over $600 million. We're going to talk about that, what's happening there. Then lastly, we're going to talk about Solana and the exciting stuff that's happening within the Solana ecosystem, at least briefly. Just like a headline news of what is going on in that ecosystem, what the madness is about. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Fetch.ai. Fetch.ai, we know a couple of weeks back, they partnered with OpenDAO and OmniFarms. So those are decentralized automated market maker protocols. So basically the Fet team has extended their partnership with these protocols by actually launching liquidity farms within these protocols, or at least extending the amount of the engagement with these properties as far as yield farming is concerned. So you can see a yield farming on Binance Smart Chain launch of USDO Fet pool. So that's the pair that you start with. So there's a couple of instructions here where they basically hold your hand through this process, and there's some videos here that you can also see. So basically they'll guide you on how to swap your USDO for BUSD. So swapping the stablecoin, the USDO stablecoin for the Binance stablecoin, then use the USDO you minted to farm in the new USDO Fet pool on the Pancake Swap, then deposit the LP tokens, the liquid provider tokens, on OmniFarms for yield in OCP tokens. Stake the OCP on OmniFarms to farm Fet. An additional 25,000 in Fet have been dedicated to this yield farming program. So you can see you can earn double, triple, quadruple yield on the tokens that you mint. Consequently, you can use those to yield farm other tokens. Now, this functionality has been also extended to the MetalX tokens. So essentially, you can farm any MetalX on the Binance Smart Chain. You can take those any MetalX that you farmed, take them onto this OCP protocol, and then yield farm them. And as well, there's instructions here. You can yield farm your any MetalX tokens, mint the USDO stablecoin, use that to then use the any MetalX tokens that you get after staking your USDO stablecoin, and then use those to borrow BUSD, which you can then stake on other platforms. So it depends with DeFi. Basically depends on how much you're willing to go down the rabbit hole with the returns that you get. You can continuously stake those to get more. So I think that's exciting in terms of utility of the Fet token and the MetalX token and the any MetalX tokens, other versions that are on other networks. That's pretty exciting stuff, guys. Now, the other thing we want to look at basically you can see this title, why does Bitcoin officially becoming legal tender in El Salvador matter? So of course this article goes into the remittances, how the El Salvador's GDP basically is boosted by when you see money remittance services that are like about 24% of the country's GDP, which is pretty big. So, but one important thing we wanted to note, we all remember that El Salvador was the first country to basically declare that they're going to adopt Bitcoin as a national currency. And just as a reminder, in 21 days, this is going to happen in 21 days. This article was written yesterday, so today, so we can say in 20 days right now, El Salvador will officially become the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Even though it's only a tiny country with a small gross domestic product, the first step is always the hardest to be taken, and the domino effect might bring more prominent players to the game in the years to come. After hyper Bitcoinization, this will have been, in hindsight, the turning point. So obviously this is an optimistic look about this whole concept, about this whole idea of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. But there's something else that it reminds us of. This creates a sort of competition for money. These are private monies. With the advent of cryptocurrencies, we're in a situation where any country, any government, any individuals, private organizations can decide to create their own forms of money. So the free market decides with the money they want to go with. The cryptocurrency out there that's more valuable, that has more higher reputation, that is more liquid, that is more trusted, that is more respected, the public is going to naturally levitate towards that cryptocurrency. And that's the beauty of open markets, that and they've been made possible. Open markets within the financial system, within the monetary system directly, they've been made possible with the advent of Bitcoin back in 2009, when the first Bitcoin were mined back in 2009. So from that time, it really led to this cascading effect, this domino effect that was uncertain, but now is starting to materialize in ways that we can understand, and bringing in that sweet free market competition as regards to money, separating state from money. So this is exciting stuff. We don't really know what's going to happen, but one thing we know for sure, if this is actually going to happen in 20 days, when it does happen, this is going to be a historical event, and this country would have really solidified itself, imprinted itself in the history books as being the first country to adopt a digital currency, the first digital currency, not just any digital currency, as its national currency. So it will forever be in the history books, and hopefully it turns out really, really well for them. So El Salvador, keep mining your Bitcoins in the mountains. That's pretty awesome stuff. Good use of Steam. Awesome. So the other thing we want to look at is Dogecoin, guys. The team officially reestablishes Dogecoin Foundation after 6 years. Can you imagine? These are the guys that went quiet. They didn't want anything to do with Dogecoin. Elon Musk kept poking at them. Guys, Doge to the moon. We're sending Doge to the freaking moon. We're putting Doge on our rockets. I think now they're going to actually start accepting Dogecoin with purchases of Tesla. I think I read that somewhere. So that's pretty interesting stuff. So one thing I want you to note from this whole article is that according to the foundation, they formed the Dogecoin Foundation, where they're going to be protecting the brand of the Dogecoin, the meme coin, whatever the brand of the token, but it's going to be a very liberal license, such that you can always use them. You want to have fun, you can play around with the logo, with their logo, with their brand name, their brand logo, but they still owning that brand, which is okay. So according to the foundation, it's aiming to secure a 3-year budget to onboard team members to support its goals. The project's website lists Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, Dogecoin co-founder Billy Marcus, Dogecoin core developer Max Keller as advisory board members. In addition, Tesla CEO and Doge proponent Elon Musk's interests will seemingly be represented by Neuralink CEO Jared Bashal. I hope I pronounced that name properly. So you can see this is a very, very strong team for a meme coin to have backing it. Are you serious? On the other hand, you have this multi-billionaire richest person, Elon Musk, with all these companies that are really monopolies, and they were the first of their kind, bringing Tesla, raising electric cars back from the dead, SpaceX, Onion, personal rocket company, Neuralink, and other things. Then on the other hand, you have Vitalik, the kid essentially that started the second most valuable and essentially the most used blockchain out there when it comes to decentralized smart contracts, all that stuff. The blockchain with the biggest network effect after the Bitcoin network, and its network effect is different. So Dogecoin has really scooped itself up some really reputable, some really hardcore people on their team. Let's go, guys. So this here we can see the SEC, of course. Ripple is still in its squabbles. They're still in that case with the SEC. So the SEC versus Ripple. Defendant offers bargain in the Slack data dispute. So I'll just read for you this tweet, and this will be it about that. So XRP community, hashtag SEC government, whatever, hashtagging all these people breaking. This is by James K. Phelan. The SEC files emergency motion for a discovery conference regarding Slack communications. 6 order compelling Ripple to search and produce relevant communications between Ripple employees on Slack. So the SEC is still digging deep. We noticed some months ago the SEC was found to have tried to reach out to some of the Ripple's customers, Ripple's clients, the confidential clients, to try and get some information. So I mean, this whole thing is messy, but we'll see how it pans out. How it pans out. I wish the best for Ripple, and I hope the SEC is doing whatever they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing, at least in favor of the United States. Let's see how it goes. One other thing I wanted to remind you guys of is Tiger Global. guys, I think this is quite important. Now, Tiger Global backs 24 million funding round for blockchain security firm CertiK. This is not the first time I'm talking about CertiK. I've literally done a video about CertiK. Now, these guys, they certify blockchains. There are other companies like Halborn and there are other companies. So they look at smart contracts, they look at the code, they try to look out for vulnerabilities within the smart contracts. So of course, I imagine the way the companies operate, obviously, when there are vulnerabilities in DeFi and all kinds of vulnerabilities in the blockchain space, they use that as their control experiments or what to learn from, and their experience keeps increasing. So I think there's going to reach a time where there's going to be these companies that are establishing themselves as the auditors of smart contracts and try to establishing themselves as companies that are trying to increase the security within the blockchain space, reducing the chances of getting hacked, reducing the chances of really destroying a whole ecosystem that's developing, because that's really dangerous if you're trying to develop a global financial system. So I think there's some optimistic, bullish sentiment that's brewing around these companies that are doing this. Now, what's even more exciting about CertiK is that they have a token, but we can read briefly about what it's about. So blockchain security firm CertiK has concluded a $24 million funding round as part of its ongoing efforts to expand its product and security offerings for the decentralized finance or DeFi sector. So the funding round, which was co-led by Tiger Global and GL Ventures, comes on the heels of the successful launch of the Skyneck Premium. Now, this is a feature on the CertiK platform. So the Skyneck Premium, an active monitoring platform for DeFi applications. Since its inception, Skyneck has monitored over 2 million smart contract addresses and over 2 billion on-chain transactions. So they have this automated thing that really monitors and continuously monitors the progress of these smart contracts that they've audited to see if there's any security vulnerabilities, any security risks, or if there's any shady happening in there. So I think these guys are onto something. I think they're really onto something. And here, this article, they talk about obviously the Poly network hack that I mentioned at the beginning of the video that everyone has been talking about, which was supposedly the biggest hack as far as the blockchain industry is concerned. I don't even know what to call it. DeFi cross-chain hack? I think it's a cross-chain hack. So of course it was a cross-chain because it was an exploit of that cross-chain, that communication between the headers of how the Poly network blockchain communicates with the other networks. That's why the funds were stolen from Binance Smart Chain, the Polygon-Matic, which partnered with Polygon Hermes, which is I think going to be called Polygon Hermes, and the Ethereum network. So the funds were stolen from those three interoperable networks: Binance Smart Chain, Polygon-Matic. I'm just saying Polygon-Matic because I don't want it to be confused with the Poly network, which was hacked, and the Ethereum network. So that's how the hacker got the $600 million. So CertiK is one of these farms that's really establishing itself in terms of being viable auditors as far as smart contracts are concerned. So speaking of Poly Network, we have this news. This was quite interesting. We know the hacker promised to return all the funds that were stolen. I think since these addresses can be monitored and the US Tether, some of the money was channeled into US Tether, and we know since the company issuing US Tether is quite centralized, they actually could freeze those addresses. So whoever owned those addresses cannot send the funds out of that address to another address. So that's pretty scary stuff, very centralized. But those funds are frozen there. But the other funds that the hacker still controls, the hacker promised to return them at least. So Poly Network offers to onboard Mr. White Hat as a chief security advisor. So the Poly Network has given this hacker a name, which is Mr. White Hat, and they've offered him a position of chief security advisor, and they also offered him, whether he likes it or not, $500,000 as a reward for helping them figure out such a huge vulnerability within their network. So it's exciting to see how this plays out. I don't think the hacker wants to expose himself or herself or whoever they are, but we'll see how this plays out, guys. Now, this is the last thing I want to talk about, and I think it's pretty exciting. I don't own any Solana, but I'm just seeing the evolution of the Solana network. It's trying to establish itself as the first true Ethereum killer, but I don't know if that will happen. So how Solana became a top 10 crypto? So of course the first part of this article is talking about the price and how Solana has gained 72%. Guys, 72% in 1 week. Crypto is crazy. So the part that I want to read for you is this one. It's a short part, but I think I'd rather leave it to you guys to interpret it for yourselves, because this was written by CoinMarketCap. So what happened to Solana, and this is quite interesting, guys. The utility of Solana solution is coming into the limelight. Last week, Mango Markets, a high-speed decentralized exchange that is powered by Solana, successfully raised $70 million in crowdfunding. More notably, the Solana Foundation launched the Wormhole 2 update. Such a cool name. Wormhole is an interoperable protocol that enables communication between high-value blockchains. The communication bridge allows several top blockchains such as Terra, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain to benefit from Solana's low-cost and high-speed. Consequently, developers can now deploy functionality to transfer data and tokens across several blockchains. More information about the Wormhole could be found here. So guys, I'll post this link in the description in case you want to find out more information about the Wormhole. So the Wormhole could eventually become a cornerstone for trustless bridges between smart contract protocols as developers look to connect decentralized apps from other blockchains to Solana. So in addition to the launch of Wormhole, Sol's latest price rally can also be attributed to the successful launch of the new NFT project hosted on the Solana blockchain over the weekend. The NFT project is called the Degenerate Ape Academy NFT. It sold its collection of 10,000 ape tokens in 8 minutes. Guys, ever since the advent of the Bored Ape NFTs, everyone has been doing like bored cats, bored this. Anyway, 8 minutes they sold 10,000 apes, Degenerate Ape Academy NFTs. Amid the buying frenzy during the sales, Solana's trading volume exceeded $2.5 billion with a B. It is also worth mentioning that this transaction fee was minuscule, costing around $0.01 to mint. And there was no network congestion during the sale. So you remember Ethereum with CryptoKitties, there was massive network congestion, but apparently with Solana, even having 8 minutes, 10,000 apes being sold within those minutes, there was no network congestion and the fees remained low. So guys, this is quite interesting for the Solana network, and we'll see how these things materialize. So this last part, an Ethereum killer? Several projects have earned the catchy title of Ethereum killer. So since late 2017, the likes of Cardano is still coming up with some bullish news as far as their smart contract development is going along, but I'll cover that in another video. And then, so, okay, here they're mentioning Cardano, Polkadot, Binance Smart Chain, and Solana. So they have been dubbed possible Ethereum killers as the leading blockchain struggles, which is Ethereum, struggles with surging demand in the DeFi and NFT sectors. So in the case of Solana, the project is on a mission to scale blockchain for global adoption. Speaking of scalability, the platform can process more than 6,000 transactions per second, according to data from Solana Beach Show. However, its website boasts of a maximum throughput of 50,000 transactions per second. For more articles on Solana, check out the following. So of course you can go into a deep dive about more into Solana, a deep dive into Solana market review, and Solana raises 10 million in token sales. So I'm going to post these links in the description in case you want to check out more information about this. But I think these are pretty good updates as regards the crypto space and what is going on. And of course, there's a ton of other things happening out there, but we shall try to cover step by step, guys, baby steps, as we try to really understand what is going on in the crypto space and where it's headed and how we need to position ourselves as we continue along in this space. But obviously the most important thing, as I always say, is to stick around, keep paying attention no matter what's going on in the market. That's the most important thing, and also keep learning, guys. All right, I hope you learned something in this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.